Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Vintage Cube Draft. Really good pack to start. Mana Drain is amazing, one of the better cards in the format. Counterspell is amazing, and that is the same as Mana Drain, but way worse. So, pretty great start. Grim Monolith is also very good. They both work well in similar decks by adding lots of colorless mana and incentivizing you to play things like Karn Liberated. Other good cards in the pack, Savannah and Godless Shrine, are both totally reasonable. Fable of the Mirror Breaker is great, really strong card. Cryptic Command, heavy on the blue, but if you can play Mana Drain, you can often play Cryptic Command too. I think I would probably take Grim Monolith if there was no Mana Drain, but we'll take the Mana Drain and be very happy about it. And now we get Ponder, perfect follow-up, adds a lot of consistency to the deck. Yeah, not really any other considerations here. If this was pack one, pick one, I would also take Ponder. Ignoble Hierarch is good too. Tezzeret is decent, but not like you don't want to first pick it or second pick it. I like Glorybringer, but yeah, easy Ponder. Okay, now we have a few blue options that are all kind of weak. We're definitely not taking Opposition or Metamorph. You could take Vendilion Click here. There's also Prismatic Vista, which Prismatic Vista and Simic Signet, both of which are pretty good. But I like to cut blue early when we have this sort of start and just take the really good blue card. Yeah, I think I like taking the click here. Yeah, we'll take Dig Through Time. So far, this draft has been kind of easy. We're just taking the good blue card in every pack. I don't think that's often a good strategy because blue does tend to get cut, but when you lead on Mana Drain, you really want blue to work. Like, blue is not super open. This is the only blue card in the pack, but that's fine. We have a good enough start that we'll just force, or not force blue, but like take the blue cards highly with our early picks, and then we'll probably get some nice passes in pack two when it goes in the other direction. Um, Outside of this, there's like Kolaghan's Command is probably the best card. Really strong, but obviously requires two colors we're not playing right now. And this is also really good. Restoration Angel's good, but take the dig. Okay, there's Gideon if we want to be blue-eye control. There's Uro, which is just a great card. It has some overlap with Dig Through Time. They both use your graveyard. I think actually I will just take the Gideon. Given that like Uro is maybe better, but also maybe not. You need to be able to fill the graveyard really well, and white looks very open here. Yeah, I think that is the right line. We'll see. If we get like past Oko or something, I'll regret that. But fifth pick Gideon is definitely a signal, and we're not going to be mono blue or anything. Blue is not open enough for that. So all of these cards slot pretty well into blue eye control. Okay, now it looks like green is the open color. So we could have taken Uro and then taking Utopia Sprawl here, but I feel pretty good about taking Brain Geyser. Great use of mana drain mana, also just a good card. This has impressed me. It's been pretty easy to get more cards than I would expect out of this in a format that has access to mana drain and Soul Ring and, if not that broken, just signets. Okay, here we see a Watery Grave. Also Loran. I think I'll take the Watery Grave. Loran is decent. Well, no, there's two white cards. Yeah, let's take the Loran. We could go towards blue-black. Like, this pack looks great for it. Liliana, Snuff Out, and Watery Grave. But Loran's a great card, and white, I think, does still look fairly open. Granted, last pack only had one white card, but Gideon is really strong pull in that direction. Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Loran here over the Watery Grave. Oh, wow, that is a disrespectfully late remand, which is totally fine by me. Really, really good pickup. Okay, here's a Godless Shrine if we wanted to be Esper, but let's just take the Thraben Inspector. Keep things simple. We have no fixing right now, but we have time. We'll be able to get that. Solid blue-white start. We have a lot of playables. We might not want to play all of these cards. Okay, we'll take Enlightened Tutor here. I'm not really interested in any of these green cards. And Enlightened Tutor does nothing yet, but if we are able to get some good pieces with this, then it could be good. And there's one, actually. Temporary Lockdown. I think this is a main deckable card, and it's definitely better when you have Enlightened Tutor and when you're not playing Signets yourself. I think I'm just going to take Armageddon here. Well, no, I'll take the Kolaghan's Command. In case we just get like tons of Grixis fixing. I'll take Fatal Push, Student of Warfare Wield. Alright, so Interesting first pack. Having two cheap counterspells is amazing. Having two pieces of power card draw is amazing. Got like a good threat, some interactive, some like good creatures that give value. So a pretty well-rounded start. We don't have any spot removal and we don't have any fixing. So those are the two main concerns we want to address in pack two. Also, we don't have like other than mana drain, we don't have anything super broken. Um, and we get nothing broken here either. There's two main considerations. And there's our Force of Negation. Ooh, Force of Negation, the auto select card. And Damn. Even if we're not playing black, just overloading this, having it be a 4 mana board sweeper is pretty nice. I think we do take the Force though. It's probably a little bit better, and it's also not going to come around. I think Damn is pretty likely to come around. White is fairly open, and there's like other good black cards in the pack, especially Thoughtseize. So any black drafters will take that. Yeah, we'll take the Force. All right, I don't think we can afford to pass the Colonnade here. Narset would be nice. We have lots of non-creatures, so this is the static ability is relevant against a lot of decks, and the -2 is great card advantage. I'd be happy to play that, but like it would be insanely greedy to pass what is probably the single best land we could get for this deck. Yeah, I think Colonnade is the best land for us here, so very happy to see that. Oh man. Teferi, but also two counter spells and a Signet. Jeez. Teferi could come around. I mean, yeah, it just is right to take one of these counters, as painful as it is to pass Teferi. Right? It just gotta be. Like, Teferi is probably the best 5 mana threat for this sort of deck, but lots of 5 mana threats will win. Like, Gideon Jura will win still a lot of games that Teferi would win, and I'd rather just have the interaction to get there. I really hope this comes around. Out of these two, which is better? Probably Mana Leak. Yeah, I think Mana Leak is a bit better. All right, Hallowed Fountain, great pickup. Seal from Existence is another thing we can potentially find with Enlightened Tutor, but definitely taking the Hallowed Fountain. Okay, not a very good pack for us here. I don't think we want to play into the Triome. We're definitely not a Teshar deck. I guess I'll take Looteril Core, but I would probably prefer not to have to play this. If nothing else, we just like have a bunch of counter magic on turn 2. Okay, we're gonna take Cathar Commando here. Daze is good, but we already have a reasonable amount of counter magic, and this plays well with the counter spells. You can hold up Mana Leak and then play Cathar Commando end of turn if they don't do anything. Yeah. Okay, Queller is good. There's also a Phantasmal Image, but I think we just want to take the Windswept Heath. Good land to find the Hallowed Fountain. If we already had 3 mana Teferi, maybe I would take the Queller, because those two do work well together, but let's take the land. Alright, this pack has been great. Really shored up a lot of the weaknesses that we had. Most notably, we have really good fixing. I guess the removal still isn't great, but just having 3 really good dual lands goes such a long way to making these decks better. Okay. How good is Recruiter of the Guard? It's not bad. Definitely is the pick here. Nothing else is very good. If we get Palace Jailer, we'll love this card. Even without it, we have Loran, Cathar Commando. I guess they're kind of similar. And then Thraben Inspector, so we have some plays. Just playing this as like a value 3-drop to find an average creature is not great, but it's still early enough that we could find some other things that it works well with. Like maybe we play Looter too if we're going to go on that plan. Now I'll take Lion Sash. Good piece of graveyard hate. If we get Stoneforge Mystic, it becomes really nice. I go back and forth on whether or not I would want to main deck this in this style of deck. I do think that the similarly to Cathar Commando, having a instant speed activated ability plays well with the counter magic. Okay, we'll take Tithe Taker, not play it. Is there any chance that Teferi comes around? Teferi never wheels in pack 1. It could wheel in pack 2 if no one else is playing blue-white. But the thing is, it's early enough that there could be, like, blue-black control players that are like, oh yeah, I'll splash white for Teferi. Plus, given that we have no other blue white gold cards, it's possible that just like there is another blue white player, and we're just like splitting the cards. But we'll see. Hope springs eternal. With our curve now, it's still probably better to have Mana Leak. But we're heavy on twos, and we don't have much at the top of the curve. Alright, sad. This was the pack that had Teferi, so no Teferi for us. We'll take a Kitchen Finks. Good sideboard card, but it hurts a lot to lose that Teferi. So we're filling out the sideboard with mediocre white creatures. Learning Relic Ward is actually a good white creature. Wow, Phantasmal Image. Okay, so we're definitely a Recruiter of the Guard deck now. We need a little more card draw. We got Dig Through Time and Brain Geyser early, but we haven't gotten much since then. We have great counter magic, good fixing. Some like the threats are kind of mediocre. I mean, we have all these like small creatures. I guess they are disruptive, which is good. Oh wow. Okay, well, take Black Lotus. This is not a good Black Lotus deck right now, but turn one Gideon is pretty strong, and we can hopefully get some stuff to make this better. Solitude is great. That's the card we're hoping to wheel. Treachery would be even better than Solitude probably, but definitely will not wheel. We could maybe play Figure of Destiny, but definitely taking the Lotus. That's great. Now we have a few options. Spar's Headquarters is more fixing. Wall of Omens is a decent value play. Could take a Signet. I think we just take the Headquarters, though. Yeah. A fourth blue-white dual land is a nice thing to have. Huh, there's Stoneforge Mystic. We have Lion Sash to get right now. I think we just saw a Batterskull, which might come around. Oh, Enlightened Tutor looks better now that we have the Lotus. Lurrus is also good with Lotus. I think we just take the land, though, and try to wheel Stoneforge. White's pretty open. The thing is, we don't have the Batterskull yet. If we already had a second good equipment, that would be one thing. But we just passed the Batterskull. So I think we're basically going to hope that either Batterskull and Stoneforge Mystic both come around, or just neither do, and we're just not on that plan, and that's okay. Yeah, we'll take the land. Nice. Elspeth is one of the best things we could get here. I'll take it even over a Misty Rainforest. It plays really well with Mana Drain, really well with Black Lotus. Just gives us that piece of top end we were looking for. Very happy to get that. Okay, now we'll take Oust. Good pickup. We actually, the dam didn't come around, so we have... Oh, I didn't even focus on how bad our creature removal is. This is an urgent problem. Oust is a perfect pickup for it, but we need to get at least one more, ideally more. Alright, let's cut down to the cards that we know we want to play. I think these are all the cards that I am basically fully committed to playing. Okay, Arena Rector is interesting, but not worth it. Time Warp is good, but pretty easy Elspeth Conquers Death here. Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking Enlightened Tutor looks decent now. We can get, like, if they're flooding the board, we only have 3 hits, but there are 3 very high impact hits. Like, late game, they have a huge thing we need to deal with, ECD. Early game, they're flooding the board and we're behind, temporary lockdown. And then if we need to do something proactive and play, like, a fast Elspeth, we have the Lotus. Okay. We're not an Ephemerate deck. Kenrith is kind of interesting. We're not a Flicker Wisp deck, really. I think we take Thieving Skydiver here. Yeah, let's take the Skydiver. Good pickup. I'm still on the fence about this Enlightened Tutor. It depends on how good the Black Lotus ends up being. Okay, Savai Triumph's not very good. Monastery Mentor is not great in the main deck, but not a bad thing to have access to out of the board. And we could even main deck it. The problem is it just dies to a lot of things. Oh wow, Treachery came around. Also Skull Clamp. Oh, Winds of Abandon too, but Treachery is just like better removal, I think. Yeah, we'll take the treachery. But seeing a late Skull Clamp bodes well for Stoneforge Mystic coming around. If we could get Batterskull into Stoneforge, that would really round out this deck well. There's the Batterskull. I think Stoneforge was in the next pack. Come on, Stoneforge. Boom, got there. So that's great. We're going to play this. We can play Stoneforge for Batterskull. And we're going to bring Lion Sash back into the deck now. We need to make a couple cuts. I think now we have more cheap stuff, so we'll move Temporary Lockdown to the board. Arena Rector is kind of interesting. I don't think I'm going to play it in the main deck, but it's good against, like, we have two good Planeswalkers to get with it. So against decks that are attacking us on the ground, like against Mono Red, I think I probably will play Arena Rector. Last pick Ephemerate. Probably not worth playing, but not, like, there's possible we could bring that in out of the board. Okay. Deck looks great. We have 3 2-mana counterspells plus Force of Negation for counter magic. For removal, we have Oust, Treachery, Elspeth Conquers Death. We have Cathar Commando and Loran to kill artifacts and enchantments. And then a pretty good proactive plan with 2 copies of Lotus to accelerate into, like, early Gideon or Elspeth. What do we cut? I think we want to play 17 lands. Recruiter of the Guard is medium, but I think it is worth it now that we have the Stoneforge package. This is tough. Every single card looks good here. Maybe I will just cut the Recruiter. It's decent, but it's kind of slow. And we don't have anything broken to get with it. Yeah. Alright, so if we do 6/6, that just gives us 11/11. Let's look at our breakdown. Yeah, this looks fine. Alright. Blue Light Control, my favorite deck. We have no gold cards, no Teferi, no Fractured Identity or anything, but what we lack in broken stuff, we have in Black Lotus. See you in round 1. Oh, alright, here we are for round 1. We're on the draw against Crispy Frog, and our hand is great. No Lotus, but definitely cannot complain. Okay, interesting draw. We are threatening turn 3 Elspeth if we top deck if we draw a white land in our next 2 draws. I think this is a hand where we would rather hold up Mana Drain than go for the Stoneforge Mystic. But I really would like to hit some land drops. You don't want to be passing holding up counter magic while you're missing land drops. What you getting with this Misty Rainforest? A Taiga. Interesting. There you had it. Alright. Definitely holding up counter magic here. We draw Force of Negation. Oh, man. We really need our opponent to do something here. If they just pass... Okay, I'm not going to counter Brainstorm. I really don't want to have to go to discard. I guess we could just jam Thieving Sky... No, we would just discard Thieving Skydiver if we brick again. 15 lands out of 31 cards plus Lotus I would count as land. So just over 50% of our cards would be good draws. Courser of Krufix. Okay, I'm gonna go for the high risk play of Mana Drain, or high reward, high risk, high reward. If we draw White Source, we just win. Oh, brutal. And we're so constrained on colored mana too. Man, that sucks. Okay, I'm gonna play Stoneforge Mystic. I don't think passing with mana, like wasting this mana and passing with Mana Leak Up is the right play. So I'll grab Batterskull, and then I'm just gonna drop the Thieving Skydiver into play because I'm not gonna have a good, like, we can't really kick it on anything here. So we'll just pass. This is kind of a big turn. If they, like, hopefully they play something that we can force of negation, pitching probably Vendilion Click, and then we can pass holding up Mana Leak or Batterskull. Also worth noting, like, when we have Loran in hand, Thieving Skydiver becomes less necessary. They have 5 mana. Really, really hoping this is a Planeswalker, not a creature. Minskin Boo. Okay, Golos is fine. Although, maybe not. If they get, yeah, they can almost definitely start spinning Golos soon. We can, if we find land, we can Loran it. Yeah, so if they have a land in hand, they can spin Golos. Can we please draw a land? Yes. Hit for 3. So they still have tons of mana, and our shields are down again, so they could do something scary again, but we still have Force of Negation up. I think it is worth it to kill the Golos. If they don't have a land, Golos doesn't do anything other than just hit for 3. But it's so bad if they do have a land. Alright, Ponder's fine. They chose to shuffle. That's good news. Okay, Eternal Witness is honestly fine. Batterskull can dominate the board pretty well, or the ground. They get back Golos, which we can probably Mana Leak. Never mind. Now they have enough to play it through Mana Leak, but we can click it. Bad draw. Yeah, our draw has been really awkward. We're just getting very clogged on mana, so we're not really able to leverage our counter magic effectively at all. We need to click to get rid of the Golos, and then just hope that they brick for a couple draws, or that they only draw like a non-creature. And we do have 5 power in the air now. Okay, let's take Golos. They can make a ton of 1/1s. I don't think I would care. They could, if they overload Winds of Abandon, I also don't think I care. I'll just take the 4 lands and win the game with the rest of the cards in our hand. So I don't think I'm going to force a negation either of these. Do we want to draw a card with Loran in turn? I don't think so. I think giving us each a card when they have way more mana than us helps them. Time Warp. Honestly, I'm going to Force of Negation this. I don't care about it too much, but I like putting it in exile. And just like getting to take the initiative and start bringing the beats now. We can put Batterskull into play probably. Okay. And I'm keeping the Leak because they have expensive stuff in their hand. Also, if we draw a land, we can equip Batterskull to one of our flyers. I used to play Blue-White, Stoneforge, and Modern with Vendilion Click and Stoneforge Mystic, and I loved putting Batterskull on Click. A 7/5 with Flying, Vigilance, and Lifelink just wins the game almost always. At least back then it did. Now they just play Murktide and don't care. So pretty funny, but Mana Leak is actually way better than Miscalculation here. Remember that was an interesting. It was Leak versus Teferi versus Miscalc, and in this situation, Leak is the best of those 3 by an enormous margin. So if we draw a land, oh no, they still have the Birds of Paradise to chump block, so they're not just dead. Let's still not Loran. So yeah, with the Birds of Paradise in play, it doesn't really make sense to re-equip. So let's just go to combat and swing. Wait, what? Okay, they just choose to die. Fair enough. They had Pest Infestation to kill the Batterskull. Of course, we can return it to our hand. Alright, so we're playing against like a 5-color deck. This is probably a pretty bad matchup. So it's nice to be able to steal game one. Temporary Lockdown seems okay against their mana guys. Um, I think I'm gonna cut Thieving Skydiver. It's bad against Golos, and it's good against decks who have mana development in the form of mana rocks. But if they're playing mana dorks instead, not quite as good. Swiss or Mentor is an interesting option too. I think we're just gonna run it back though. All right, playable hand. Take your time looks a little awkward, but we can play Remand into Click, so it just the real question is can they do something devastating in their first two turns? But given the sort of deck that they are, they're probably just going to be setting up in the first two turns, so like they ramp spell turn one, ramp spell turn two, Golos turn three, and we can remand it into Click it away. Or they just have a slower draw. Dark Commander is a good top deck. Most likely just another dork of some sort, maybe Sylvan. Ren and 6 would be interesting. And by interesting, I mean terrible for us. All right, yep, they're ramping. So we'll see what they're getting with this. They are. It looks like they're teamer. They're like base blue green black or blue green red, but then playing all the colors for Golos. Feels really good to pass with Cathar Commando plus remand up. Right? And I think we're just gonna. Oh, interesting. What are they doing in response? They counter this. That's totally fine. Sure. And now, do we want to hold up remand or go for the click? I think I'm gonna hold up remand. If we click them and they have multiple good 5 drops, we're in a really bad position. This guarantees that we're not gonna fall behind on board. Ramanap Excavator. That is pretty annoying, so I will remand it. Hit them with the draw step click. Ponder, yeah, I'll fire that off because we know what we want. Basically, just action. Oh, that's action. Wow. Okay. Yeah, let's draw all of these. I think I'm gonna draw Elspeth last. It means we can't Elspeth next turn. But if we can just put the mana drain into a big brain geyser if we end up doing that. Okay, yeah, let's just let this happen. So I am gonna mana drain this. It's not like the most important threat, but with the click in hand, what we're gonna do is just do a big brain geyser and then leave enough up enough mana um to click them. I think. So we could brain geyser for 3. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. This way we also don't discard the hand size, which it would be fine if we did have to, but I'd rather not. Okay, that resolves. And we'll pass and go for the click. Okay, we'll take the Green Sun Zenith. Arcane Proxy does nothing. Knight of Autumn also basically does nothing. They top deck Brainstorm, which is a good draw, because among other things, they can then Arcane Proxy to flashback Brainstorm. But then we can Phantasmal Image and copy their Arcane Proxy. I think that works. It just flashes back Ponder. It's not broken, but it's fine. They have a kill spell for the click. Iteration, fair enough. So we don't really know their hand anymore. They've done a lot of action. Next turn we're just gonna play Elspeth, and then the turn after we can dig. Let's see if they play the Knight of Autumn here. Yep, there it is. Probably as a 4-3. I think I would rather plus the Elspeth than kill the Knight of Autumn, so we're gonna go up, not down. And then they have a bird, alright? Elspeth Sun's champion. Hit for 3. And now they can play Arcane Proxy to flashback Expressive Iteration, which is a really strong line, but Elspeth just making tons of 1/1s every turn is really good. We have 2 counterspells left in the deck that we can draw towards off the dig through time. Oh, they're casting a big Arcane Proxy. Or 8 mana, Woodfall Primus. Alright. I mean, this is fine. We get to then Phantasmal Image copy their Primus, but we could be in for a long game here. So let's go land, Phantasmal Image copy Primus, and I think I'm going to destroy just Sacred Foundry. They're going to have double blue either way. Then we Elspeth Conquers Death to take out their Primus. I guess we could have Enlightened Tutor for Treachery as well, but I think this is better. We want to get this down early, so that we can threaten to bring back Elspeth more quickly. And then do we want to trade a soldier for 2 damage? I don't think so. I'm going to leave the soldiers back. We'll put in the upkeep stop in case we want to Enlighten Tutor for Treachery. So cast the proxy to flashback the iteration, as expected. And if they ever kill this Primus, it gets to come back as something. Probably Knight of Autumn. Although, actually, no, that doesn't. Yeah, it's actually weirdly bad here because it enters with a -1/-1 counter. So it would instantly die if it was a click or if it was Knight of Autumn. Like, yeah, it's going to have the +2/+2 trigger on the stack, but it will die before that resolves. Obviously, can't copy Bird, so we would just copy Knight of Autumn to blow up Arcane Proxy, I guess. I actually don't know how it would work if we had it come in as a copy of Arcane Proxy. If it would be a 4-3 or a 2/1. Hey, they play Courser. Omnath on top, good to know about. I don't think I need to go for Treachery here. Treachery is not that impressive on this board. So I'll just take a natural draw step. And I'll dig, leaving just Elspeth in the graveyard. Okay. Yeah, I'll take Gideon Lotus. Or I mean Gideon Batterskull. And then does it do anything if we make an emblem here? Not really. So let's just swing in with our two big creatures. They go to 2. Okay, against that, they're clearly setting up to kill us on their next turn. Craterhoof Behemoth kills us either way. Anything else doesn't do that much. I'm trying to decide if there's an argument for just playing Batterskull first. And I think actually I will do that. We're going to win next turn either way. Batterskull gives us the best chance of surviving until next turn because it impacts the board more immediately. And I'm not worried, like, Craterhoof is irrelevant because that kills us either way, but, like, maybe there's some weird combination of, like, Time Walk into Questing Beast or something where Batterskull saves us. So you draw this Garruk on top. Pest Infestation. I guess Pest Infestation could be annoying. Keep in mind their non-creatures do cost 2 more right now. I think they're just gonna lose here, right? Like they're at 2. They don't have a land, I think. If we're able to just get a clean 2-0 in this matchup, that will feel pretty good. Again, I don't think this is really a good matchup for our deck. Eternal Witness to bring back whatever, it doesn't matter. Maybe they can survive. Oh wait, no, they can bring back a land. Yeah, they can bring back a land and gain 5 life. Actually, 10 life. Omnath is good. We get to bring back Elspeth. Yeah, I think we want to Enlighten Tutor for Treachery and then go Treachery into Elspeth. Or Treachery, well, yeah, we're gonna... Okay, they cracked now. That's interesting. So they're giving up on gaining 5 life on our turn so that they can play Garruk? That is not the correct line, I think. I mean, maybe it's right. They have a lot of creatures. So they might be able to survive our attack. Yeah, so I think they're gonna play Garruk and make a beast. They could also go for untap, which sets them up to overrun next turn, but that seems just not correct. All right. Enlightened Tutor, I think just getting Treachery. Temporary Lockdown, does that help us? No. Okay, Treachery. Bring back Elspeth with a loyalty counter. Then we go Treachery. And I think I'm actually going to steal Courser over Omnath here. No, it's got to be right to take Omnath. Gain a little life because we can. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if they were dead on board. They were going to have to chump block in a major way, lose a lot of their board. They're top decking Nissa, which is fine, but we get Elspeth. Yeah, we're gonna win that game. 1-0. I'll see you in round two. All right, back for round two with a good hand on the draw. We'll keep it against Ugly Gnome. I don't think you're an ugly gnome, although I guess I don't know who you are. And you are down to 5, so maybe your life just sucks. We are going to lead on Ponder here, probably. Normally, I like to save the cantrips, but in this situation, if we don't find a land, we know exactly what we're looking for, which is land. They go bottom, bottom on a mold of 5. Unlucky. Ooh, give me that blue source, baby. um, hmm. This is like pretty bad, actually. We don't have anything to do with mana drain. I almost want to shuffle these. Is that crazy? It's probably crazy. Yeah, I think we're supposed to keep these. So I'm gonna play Lotus now to insulate ourselves against anything broken. We just have mana drain up. I'm not gonna fire off a click here. I guess there's some argument for it, but I don't think it's correct. When we also have counter magic available, and then assuming they don't do anything broken here, we can just curve mana leak into Loran. And Loran, this might be a situation where I actually will draw with Loran. Depends partially on what they do. All right. Opponent drops an island into play and passes. Okay. So we'll play one of the planes we know we're drawing and pass back with mana leak up. It could be correct to just jam click here. It's kind of an interesting decision. I think I'm gonna hold off. Because the other thing is, like, Black Lotus being our only source of double blue means we could go click plus mana drain in the same turn. Whereas if we just use click, then we're not gonna be able to play mana drain for a long time, potentially. It feels just too conservative to just do nothing, though. Interesting point. How much does the 3 damage matter? How much? Like we just don't have that much. Like we have leak, we have Loran, but we're not doing that much if we're just like we don't have much to follow up the click. I think I'm gonna play it. It's very very close. I would not fault someone for holding this here. Um, it like is kind of card disadvantage, of course, but I want to get something onto the board. Okay, looks like they're playing Storm. Let's take Metamorphose. And this is exactly what I was thinking. Against Storm, like, we want to pressure their life total aggressively. So we drew the 2 planes we knew about. We don't know our top card anymore. If they play the Mox Ruby, we can kill it with Loran, but they're probably going to hold it. Because they're still not under that much pressure. They can wait a few more turns before they go for any shenanigans. I would love to be able to have double counterspell up for that key turn, but unless we start drawing blue sources ASAP, that's not going to happen. Double blue card, pretty rough, of course. We want to draw Island or Force of Negation. Although at this point, even a Plains I would take, because that would let us play Loran while still holding up Mana Leak, and that would speed up our clock. So in this matchup, we're just going to bring in some more cheap creatures. Porcelain Legionnaire, maybe Tithe Taker. Alright, not the best mana base here. Alright, we're going to play the Loran. Your Mox Ruby is safe. And we're definitely not going to be tapping Lorraine to draw cards. I think it's actually a really interesting problem of when tapping Lorraine is worth it and when it's not. But definitely when you have creatures on the board and a counterspell in hand and you're trying to just close out the game, that's not the time when you want to draw cards. Okay, Desperate Ritual. We know two of their cards. Frantic Search. Yep, not going to counter this. They discard Chain of Vapor and Prismatic Vista. So 3 cards, all unknown. They have 6 mana. We have Mana Leak up. Probe, alright. They know about the Mana Leak now. Okay, now it's time to think. Is there, because Lion's Eye Diamond is good against Mana Leak, because they can play whatever they were going to play and just pay 3. But if we leak the Lion's Eye Diamond, it's the same thing. They can just let that happen and then still play their 6 drop. So I think we do just let this resolve. But now Mana Leak is looking a little dicey. It just depends on what they're storming into also. Wheel of Fortune. And then they can crack the Lion's Eye Diamond in response for some mana. And I will Mana Leak the wheel. It gives them an extra storm, but I think we're going to lose if they find Brain Freeze either way. Actually, we might not even lose if we... Oh, I did on F6. We drew Force of Negation. That's huge. Underworld Breach. Oh, man, it's good that we drew Force of Negation. I'd rather pitch Thieving Skydiver here and hold up Remand. I think, like, stealing their Mox Ruby is good, but this is better. They might not be able to... No, they probably could win with that. Oh, well, they just have that Brain Freeze. Well, pretty impressive there. They won through 2 counterspells. Kind of a tough loss. Alright, how do we want to change things here? We don't want Treachery. We don't want Elspeth Conquers Death. We don't even really want Batterskull, but we do want Lion Sash. Let's bring in Relic Order. Let's just bring in creatures that pressure the opponent's life total. I'm just going to cut the Batterskull, honestly. We're just going to only get Lion Sash. Are any of these other cards good? Like, Mentor does bring some pressure. Probably don't need Oust. Yeah, we'll do it like that. And I think I'm not going to change the mana base. I still really want blue. Like, we would have won that game very easily if we had one more blue source. Man. Okay, we can keep this. I think I'm just going to put back Enlightened Tutor. Yeah, pretty anemic draw, but we have a lot of beats early on. So our plan is just to play some cheap creatures, and then hopefully we can find one of our 4 counterspells in the first few draws. And this pressure coupled with a counterspell should be enough to win. And tough to just lose that game with counter magic in hand because we did not have double blue for mana drain. Our fixing is decent in this deck, and they were on a mold of 5 too. Oof. All right. Well, we'll play Seagram Coast and pass. Maybe we were supposed to take Frantic Search over Metamorphose. Hard to say. Okay, I think I'm going to play Cathar Commando first because this we might end up kicking later. They're not just going to jam into our Thieving Skydiver, though. So I think I will just probably play it as a 2-1 here. Mentor, that's a better draw. All right. We'll drop our human monk and pass back to them. It's not that fast of a clock, unfortunately. We're not really built to be an aggressive deck. So if we're just not interacting with them and just trying to kill them on turn 6 or something, that's really bad. But of course, we have a lot of planeswalk or a lot of counter magic, so that's what we're hoping to draw towards. Okay, I think we're just going to kick Intrepid Adversary here and attack. If they want to trade Cathar Commando for the Electromancer, that's okay. So we'll pay 2 mana 1 time to pump our team once. Start bringing the beats. They're either taking 7 or losing their Electromancer. They choose to take 7, so they're probably going to go for the kill here on turn 4. We'll see if they're able to do it. Good chance we can kill them on turn 5. Any non-creature would do it. Yeah, I mean, I guess any non-creature would do it. Some creatures might do it. Um, sorry, I should say a non-creature, non-land. If we rip another basic land, that's not going to get the job done. But yeah, I think they're probably going to go for it here. Untapping with Electromancer in play is pretty good for them, of course. Top, bottom. All right. Lion's Eye Diamond. Oh no. So if they have Underworld Breach, we just lose. Please no breach. Please no breach. Interesting. Past in Flames in the graveyard. Wait, this just doesn't do it. I think. They can flashback Past in Flames with 1 mana up. Oh, wait, no. Their spells cost 1 less, so they can Manamorphose. And the Brain Freeze is in the yard. Yeah, I think this actually does do it. They have 2 mana, so then they can go Storm is 5. So they can go Probe, Storm is 6, Preordain, Storm is 7, Brain Freeze, Storm is 8. So they actually can't do it yet. They can only Storm for 8, but there are cards they could hit that would definitely do it. Like if they drew. Okay, they played Brainstorm, so now they're down to 1 mana. So they can't do it now unless they have a Black Lotus or something. They can Brain Freeze for 24 cards, but we have 31 cards in our deck. So I think this is going to be enough to win. Like, or not enough for them to win, therefore enough for us to win. Yeah, Brain Freeze, that's not going to do it. Unless they have something weird that I'm not thinking of. They are not, now the Brain Freeze is also in exile. 7 cards left in the library, still somewhat healthy. Okay, nice. So, going to game 3 against Storm. Against Goblin Electromancer, Oust becomes good, but they don't have that many cards that we want Oust against. None of these other cards seem very good. Tide Taker is just like a little bit of a clock. There's some argument for having more blue cards just for Force of Negation, but I think that's not worth it. Mentor wasn't that good there. It was just a 2/2, but I still think it's better than Tithe Taker or something. We like, especially with all the counter magic. Yeah, we'll just run it back. All right, game 3. Let's go. Give me a hand with lands and pressure and counter magic. Man, this hand is so close. I love all the counter magic. We have Legionnaire for pressure. If we, oh man, this is such a close hand. Force of Negation is the best card in our deck by so much in this matchup. I think it is a keep. We have 16 lands plus Black Lotus, so 17 good hits. So it's over 50%, 2 draws in a row. Yeah, I'm gonna risk it. I definitely wouldn't fault someone for shipping this, but counter like lots of counter magic is just the best thing in this matchup by so much. And if we draw a land in our first 2 draw steps, we're in a great position. If we just this hand has a fail rate. If we just never draw a land, we're gonna lose. Of course, that's a terrible first draw. We go to discard next turn. I think we're pitching the Thraben Inspector. Come on, deck, land. Okay. I'm going to get Lion Sash, but I'm just going to play Porcelain Legionnaire. We're not going to have enough mana to use Lion Sash very effectively for a while. So, pretty anemic Black Lotus. Honestly, just a basic land would have been better there. They brain freeze themselves. Okay, this is fine. They don't know that we have Force of Negation. Maybe they just have, the nut draw with, Spell Pierce in hand. Okay, Spell Pierce in the graveyard and Red Elemental Blast in the graveyard. That's good for us. So, we'll see if they try to pop off here. Underworld Breach, so we will Force of Negation this. So that would have just killed us on turn 3. We still brick on the land, and now our shields are down, but we have 4 damage on the board. If we ever draw a land, the game just ends, because we have up the counter spells. Electromancer, okay, that slows down our beats a little bit. Alright. A reminder of why tapped lands kind of suck. They're constrained on red mana right now. So if they have Past in Flames in their hand, they cannot go Past in Flames into Manamorphose or something. Alright, and now we can just pass and leave up Stoneforge Mystic so we can either counter their thing or put Lion Sash into play. And then once we have Lion Sash in play, that will be really good. We can exile their Brain Freeze, and that might just run them out of win conditions. But this is the key turn of the game. The shields are down. There's definitely a real chance they could kill us here. They could also just play Wheel of Fortune, and then we would be in a really bad shape because that would get rid of all our counter magic. Trinket Mage, okay. Alright, both of their 2 artifacts are in their graveyard. Still just want more lands. We brick, bad. I'll offer the Porcelain Legionnaire for Electromancer trade, which they don't accept. Echo of Eons. Do we want to remand this or mana leak it? I think I'm going to remand. It ups our chances of hitting lands, which is huge. Oh, another tapped land, come on. Right? Chump block, that's fine. We're going to pass. If they go for the Echo again, we have Mana Leak or Mana Drain. I think I would rather use Mana Leak, actually. High Tide. Okay, well, we still have Mana Drain. That actually doubles our... Yeah, that's actually good for us. That doubles our islands as well. Drain. They only have 1 card. Then they flash it back and we have the Mana Leak. Wow, crazy. Oh, they don't go for the flashback. Interesting. So that doesn't work at all. We just put Lion Sash into play and then we can exile their Echo. Nice. Alright, weird matchup. Their deck seems kind of sweet, but This is like their worst matchup kind of. Um, the combination of like tons of counter magic plus creatures that can pressure their life total, and even disruptive creatures like Loran and Vendilion Click, really strong. So we're 2-0, fighting for that trophy. See you in round 3. All right, finals are against Void X. We're on the draw, unfortunately. Oh, we have all our colors. That's kind of nice, but I think this is still a mulligan. All right, this sounds great. We'll keep, put back. I think Phantasmal Image. Could put back Planes. I'll put back Phantasmal Image. I'm not 100% sure on that. If we, if we just draw a couple lands in a row, I'll regret this, of course. Thoughtseize. Ugh. We're gonna have a good play on turn 2 either way. They take the remand, which is scary because that means they have powerful things. Mana Drain's a kind of funny draw because the problem is if we draw an island to hold it up, and then we play the island, then it gives away that we have something because we're not holding up Cathar Commando. So best draw would be a fetch land. Mana Leak. Okay, that is also an incredibly good draw because now we still get to hold up counter magic while also representing Cathar Commando. All right, we'll put our dude into play. And if they counter this, that's fine. So a couple 1-for-1 trades. We mulliganed, so that favors them, of course, but nice draw. Let's just pass, not play Loran. We mulligan, but we're also on the draw, so it's kind of even in terms of just total resources. I have a feeling this is going to be a matchup with lots of 1-for-1 trades. So any 2-for-1 we can get will be a big deal. I think I'm actually going to leak this. It's kind of close, but the thing that pushes it over the edge is that they might be playing Reanimator. And I don't want to let them just get free value. Okay. Now I kind of wish that I had played the Mana Drain, but of course we didn't know we were going to be ripping Elspeth. But now this is a great position because we can just sit back and wait for them to play something and then Mana Drain it and jam Elspeth. If they just play Drago, we kind of also have to play Drago. Hopefully they just tap out for some dopey 4-mana play. Perfect. If we draw land, we could also play Loran. I don't think we want to do that though. We don't. This is another situation where I don't think we want to be using Loran to draw cards. I will play the Thieving Skydiver though. It's possible we have too many ways to deal with artifacts and enchantments, but I also think it's a little unusual we've played against so few decks like that. But I'm going to play the Thieving Skydiver knowing that we have another way to deal with artifacts and enchantments. This just speeds up our clock a lot. We hit for 5 and then 8, so they're not quite on a 2-turn clock, but we can kill them in 3 turns. Meat Hook Massacre. Alright, fair enough. We get to kill that with Loran. I think it is better to kill that with Loran than to cast Stoneforge here. Stealthy Voidwalker. That's kind of a nombo with the Meat Hook Massacre. Now the question is, do we want to get Batterskull or Lion Sash here? And secondarily, if we get Lion Sash, do we want to use it immediately? I think I'm just gonna get Batterskull. No, I'll get the Lion Sash, but I'm not gonna play it. There's just no real need to extend it into their open mana. Unless, no. I was thinking we could go Enlightened Tutor for Black Lotus, play Lotus, play Lion Sash, and get to hold up activation, which beats certain Reanimator draws they could have. I think this is better. Bribery. I don't think we have anything that's that good here for them to get. Oh, do we have a Mole Drifter? No, I don't. Yeah, this really doesn't do much. Kind of weird art on this card. Yeah, 5 mana Vendilion Click, not gonna get the job done, my friend. They take the Enlightened Tutor? Weird. They're almost just dead on the backswing. I'm gonna leave this back and just keep up some Lion Sash shenanigans. They go down to 8. They are if they can they can kill our Elspeth. And if they kill our Elspeth into sweeping our board, okay, they can't. So blue black control, bribery. It's good to know about the Meat Hook Massacre. Bribery's not very good against us. Um, any changes we want to make? Not really. We could bring in Looter, just to add some consistency. Maybe I'll cut Thieving Skydiver for Looter here. They did seem afraid of Enlightened Tutor. I think I'm not going to cut it. Um, yeah, we'll just run it back. Like keeping up the density of broken turn ones is nice. We're not like all in on Black Lotus, but just having a higher percentage of games where we can play a turn 2 Gideon or something seems pretty nice. Or turn 1 Gideon. I think this is a keep. Don't Thoughtseize me, bro. Don't Thoughtseize me. All right. Turn 1 Gideon ally of Zendikar. Strong start. If we get to just if they don't do anything important this turn and we get to hold up remand, the game just ends. Yeah, Literal Core, that is not going to get the job done, my friend. So play land. And I think I'm just going to start beating for 7. Putting us down to 19. It's a little stressful, but I think we'll be okay. Definitely not a situation where we want to play Enlightened Tutor. All we want to draw is just more counter magic, so we're just going to hold this. They discard Elishnorn. Chart a course. Yeah, it's just definitely correct to let that resolve. All right. Plus, hit you down to 6. Colonnade, go. And now, even if they're able to deal with our board, Colonnade is a real win condition that can win in 2 attacks. Animate dead. We'll remand. Luckily, they don't have double black. They could counter this. Okay, they do have the miscalc. Fair enough. So Enlightened Tutor doesn't get us anything that helps here. Like Elspeth Conquers Death on the Elish Norn will be good. Yeah, actually, I mean they might just be winning though now. So we'll take a draw. It just depends if they have another answer, I guess. So there's no point in making a dude. We're just gonna plus and then pass turn. So best case scenario, they don't have a counter spell, and we can just get them with treachery. I send both there. Do we want to Enlighten Tutor for treachery? I think so. Rona, okay. They have three cards. So basically, we're just gonna jam back-to-back cards that they have to deal with, and hope that one of them sticks. I guess at the same time, though, maybe we don't Enlighten Tutor now because, well, no, I will. Well, yeah, we're gonna make them have two answers. So if this resolves, we just win. If they counter it, are we dead on board? 3, 6, 9, 12. Well, we're not dead on board, but we're in really bad shape. We can Elspeth Conquers Death. So they go like, kill this, hit us for 9. Then we play Elspeth Conquers Death on the Elishnorn. We can win if they play no more spells, but it's unlikely that they play no more spells. Man, props to the opponent, beating turn 1 Gideon. If we were on the play, of course, we would have won pretty easily, but still. Land. Boom. Don't have an answer, baby. Hands up. I got nothing left. It resolves. Okay. We're alive. So they have 3 damage on board. We have Colonnade, which can attack or block. Think this is a decent position for us. There's, yeah, bringing us down to 4. So if we go for a race with Colonnade, we do win the race right now. Oh, wait, no. Putrid Imp becomes a 4/4. I forgot about that. Okay, Bitter Blossom, interesting. So we can put them to 1, but then we die. So we need to leave we need Colonnade as a blocker. Batterskull, okay. Is it better to play Batterskull or hold up Colonnade? So it's better for our odds of surviving 1 turn to hold up Colonnade because it beats counter magic or sorcery speed removal. But the problem is we just lose long. We still lose. I think if we go for that play because we just hold up Colonnade, then they just like. I guess all they can do is hit us with a looter, but they can like flip Rona. Yeah, I think like we can bring back Gideon, but then they'll just have blockers with Bitter Blossom, and the Looter Core will still be a tough thing to deal with. So I think we do just play this rather than go for the Colonnade. And again, we could put them to 1, but we can't kill them. So we die to a lot of things here. We die to any removal spell. But if they don't have a way to kill our 4/4 here, and we get to untap, then I think we can win because the life total lifelink swing with Batterskull should get the job done. This looks like a kill spell. Maybe not. Flipping Rona? Dismember. Bummer. Alright, so they put us to exactly 0. We could have put them to exactly 1, then they put us to exactly 0. So, gonna have to go to game 3. Man, I thought we were gonna be able to take that one down. Maybe we could have been more aggressive in Enlightened Tutoring for Lion Sash and shut down that Alishnorn play. Unclear. But we do lose there. We saw a couple enchantments, which makes me definitely want to keep in Loran plus Qatar Commando. Do we even want Leon and Relic Warder? Probably not. Yeah, let's just run it back. I think this should be a reasonable matchup. Okay, I'll keep. And we will Ponder on turn 1. It means we don't have Force of Negation available, but we want to look for Batterskull, or for a Black Lotus. Okay. So we can play Stoneforge, and we're gonna take 2 of these. Would we rather have Mana Drain in our hand or Cathar Commando? I think Mana Drain, because we can just use it for force of will or force of negation. So we'll do this. No shuffle. Hold up force, and then play Stoneforge Mystic on turn 2. Do we want to get Lion Sash or Batterskull? I think this is a Batterskull situation where we just want to pressure them quickly, especially with Force of Negation to handle any graveyard shenanigans. Okay, not going to counter that. It does let them put their Elesh Norn into the graveyard if they have it, but still, it's too low impact of a card to do for myself here. If we had a really quick clock, that would be one thing, but we don't. Just discarding Putrid Imp. That's good news. Blue Source would be a nice draw. Basic Plains is not great, but we still can play Gideon next turn now. So, turn 3 Batterskull, turn 4 Gideon with Force of Negation up. Hopefully that's enough. Thief of Sanity. Interesting. I mean, bit of an awkward draw. We're obviously still playing Gideon. Not going to be able to hold up Mana Drain for a while, but that's okay. Just make a dude, hit for 4, and pass. And then we have 12 points of power on the board, so we can almost kill them next turn. Thief of Sanity is a great value card, but it is a little slow in this sort of situation. And we don't have that much removal, so we don't have anything that's that good against our Gideon necessarily. I don't even know what the worst case scenario is, like, because we have Force of Negation to cover most things. Like, when they play Bribery, they just gotta click. Too bad to see Remand go. That would have been one of our best draws. Rona, all right. Oust the Germ. Interesting. I don't want to Force of Negation this, but I also don't want to lose all my pressure. I think we do let this resolve. If we top deck a land, we can just re-equip Batterskull. Nice. We'll put it on this, which is a little bit better against bounce. And plus, and try and come in for 10. I guess if we put on the knight, we get to hit for 11. That could be relevant. Okay, they just chump, sure. Oh, they don't jump. All right, we'll pass with Force of Negation available. And if we don't need a Force of Negation this turn, then we can actually just hold up Mana Drain, which is obviously even better. Alice was honestly probably the worst thing for us that they could have hit, or one of the worst things. They have tons of cards. They have 5 cards in their hand, plus whatever they hit off at the Thief of Sanity here, and they can Rona to filter. But Force of Negation plus their relative lack of mana Means hopefully we'll be able to withstand. If they tap out for something that we can force of negation, they're dead on board. Okay, yeah, that should be game. Force of negation, pitching mana drain, and then they can chump block one of our things, but they still take 7. Oh no, they have it again. Days. So brutal. So now they're alive, barely. If we draw land, we can play Elspeth. Good draw. Days has really been getting us here. But now it's gone, so they cannot daze our Elspeth. And Elspeth can kill. Okay, they don't put Elshnorn into the graveyard, but even if they do put Elshnorn into play, we can kill it with a minus. Man, I really thought that Force of Negation was going to win it for us. Brutal days. The ball is totally in their court now at this point. Like, we've done our thing. You're at 4. We have all these creatures. The question is, can you find a way to deal with it? And the answer is hopefully no. We'll see. They could hit, like, Elspeth Conquers Death to deal with the Elspeth, but that doesn't deal with all these tokens. They kind of need a board sweeper. They could play the Meathook Massacre, but they can't play it big enough to kill Stoneforge Mystic. Oh man, I'm stressed. Don't hit anything too good with Thief of Sanity, please. Land Looter in the graveyard, those are definitely not good. They have the Damnation, so that buys them a turn. Colonnade was an incredible draw, probably the best draw on the deck. So we just equip up one of these guys, put the Colonnade into play and pass. Right after their Damnation, we have 2 lethal attackers again. They have 2 cards in exile that they can play off of their Thief of Sanity. But I can't think of anything that would be too relevant here. And we're at 28 with 15 cards in the library, so we don't need to worry about any weird life drain or mill stuff to kill us. Nice. All right, got there. Trophy numero 11. Let's pull up the deck list. All right, so playing some blue-white control. A tried and true classic. This isn't really a traditional blue-white control list in some ways, but in other ways it is. The reason it's not is no Fractured Identity, no Teferis, no like Consecrated Sphinx, Jace. A lot of the classic win conditions we're not playing. Instead, we have a lot of white top end, ECD, Elspeth Conquers Death, Elspeth, Gideon, that sort of thing. And then a lot more creatures than the standard blue-white control deck, but they were all kind of value creatures. We had a lot more creatures on the board that we weren't playing, but we were playing, like Click, Loran, Stoneforge, those sorts of value plays with good end of the battlefield effects, which do play well in control. The key to this deck really was the counter magic. Mana Leak, Remand, Mana Drain, and Force of Negation in many matchups, in particular against Storm, but in general, just having access to a lot of stack interaction was key. We also had a lot of ways to kill artifacts and enchantments. 3 main deck ways, and then also the Leonin Relic Order on the board. We never played against a hardcore artifact deck, but that would have been maybe our best matchup. Storm and Artifact are our 2 best matchups, I guess. We got some, one Black Lotus game. Ironically, the real Black Lotus game we lost when we played the turn 1 Gideon. And we never actually went Enlightened Tutor for Black Lotus, which granted is a lot of card disadvantage. That puts you down 2 cards, but still often worth it if what you get with it wins the game. Brain Geyser was pretty sweet. We drew some cards off of that. The Stoneforge package was good. The mana was pretty solid. Yeah, overall just a sweet league. Love me some blue-white. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.